Hello everyone, I'm Rich Uppus. Yesterday here at Autodesk University we had something new that happened. Actually it was a first for Autodesk University. We launched the new Design Technology Management Conference. This was a new conference that was totally focused on managers of CAD or other design technologies. With me today I've invited the two hosts of that conference, Robert Green from Robert Green Consulting and also Pete Kelsey. Pete's from Autodesk. He is the Autodesk Technical Account Manager. And I've invited them to share some of their insights and some of the things that they discovered when we did this event. So Robert, let me start with you. Share with us just a little bit about the event and what was the impressions you had from it and the experiences that people had.
I think we were able to kick off something that was collaborative, and that was exciting. One of the things that I've heard from CAD managers and technology managers all over the place is that I don't have a peer group. That nobody else in my company feels my pain. I don't have 5 other people that I can validate what I'm doing right or wrong or how I can be doing things better. So I think the real focus and value for this was that we got a whole bunch of really smart CAD management and technology management people into a room, and we got them on the same page. You know, we actually got them talking about mutually trying to solve problems and share knowledge. It was really cool to watch, and it unfolded very organically and naturally.
And taking full advantage of the magic of AU has to do with literally networking. Not only the training, but of course interacting with your peers. And the DTMC was actually designed to capture that. Hey, Robert, I just haven't seen you in a year. You know, how goes the BIM implementation?
Right. And people did that.
And people did that.
Very naturally, with surprisingly little prompting.
So what would you say was the biggest need that we were able to address with it? When we think about these CAD managers, and I know you mentioned that they sometimes are in a vacuum, but what did we really accomplish with these guys yesterday?
I'll take one swing at that. I think we spoke to their problems. If you listen to people who are out there on the firing line implementing Autodesk solutions, what they'll tell you is, I have to integrate this stuff. I have to make it work together. I have to know how to train my people. I have to know how to get all this done on a timeline and in a budget. And I think the courses that we put together spoke to those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And to belabor a point, Robert, you made a second ago, when you have that many capable, very smart people in a room, all you really have to do is squeeze a little bit to get some of that really good juice, information, data, experience out of these folks.
All right, so let me ask you the hard question. All right, you ready? So CAD managers and people that are doing CAD aren't always the most social. They're not social butterflies, right? And part of this conference was getting these guys to interact with each other, getting them to share some of the knowledge that they had. And it wasn't just about lectures, as I understand. It was about them participating. How did you guys get them to come out of their shells and to interact with each other?
Had a big stick. Just kidding.
Talk about the tweet aspect of it. That was very cool.
It seemed obvious to us early on that social networking, and specifically we used Twitter, we engaged, encouraged, rewarded the participants to actively tweet highlights of their experiences during the day, during this series of classes that they were taking. And there was something like 700 of them within the first 2 hours or something like that. So it was really effective.
It was. And, surprisingly enough, we just told people, if you're sitting next to someone you know, get up and move and go sit next to somebody that you don't know. Meet people that you would otherwise not meet. Swap business cards, and we saw a lot of that. I saw people, and we also took advantage of unconferencing sessions where we literally just put people around a projector. And I did one where I just served as facilitator, and I had no trouble getting feedback. Because people were very engaged, and they really enjoyed being able to bounce their ideas off one another.
Now, were there any good debates yesterday? Did anybody kind of jump in and have some passion about what they were talking about?
Yeah, I don't think I didn't see a whole lot of disagreement. What I saw was, I saw really 3 things. One is validation, which is some of the things I'm doing are correct. My CAD management peers are telling me that I'm sort of on the right track. But then there were these little silver bullet things that would pop out. that we saw being tweeted or showing up in the guru briefs later, which I guess we'll talk about that. But yeah, we had no trouble getting people to share.
Very
No
good.
problem at all.
And I think that's because of that shared common experience, and because the magic of this event was that, as you said, designed exclusively for managers. So you're sitting with people who have the same anxieties, same challenges, and to share best practices, do's, don'ts, map the minefield, as we sometimes say. I mean, that's really effective stuff. And basically, we just sort of had to wind them up a little bit, and they took off.
It seems like the approach that you took was a little bit more like graduate school than your typical undergraduate experience. It would be more lecture and just working through things that a professor says are the right ways to go. So it looks like it was a kind of moving AU to a different level of engagement with attendees.
Absolutely.
It wasn't just the clicks and picks track. And I think Pete coined that phrase, so I'll pay you a license fee
So
later.
nobody missed the lectures? They didn't complain that there wasn't straight lectures for them, or?
I didn't hear it.
Nope.
I heard a lot of positive feedback about the unconferencing track.
It seems like it would be dead on for this type of individual who's experienced and has something to share. And the way you learn, I would guess, is by talking with somebody else with experiences. As
Well, and of course, the instructors we had were the best of the best. And the classes were, of course, designed for managers as well. So not much on the picks and clicks, more implementing change, right? Which is pretty scary.
Now, one of the things that you had shared with me earlier was that you had divided folks up into teams to try to facilitate this idea of working together. How did that work out?
It seemed to work pretty well. I mean, I heard no complaints about it. What we did was we gave people a challenge to put their collective knowledge, kind of the best things that they picked up throughout the day, and put it into what we called a guru brief, which was a single page, almost like a cheat sheet format document. Where it worked great, and I think the thing that was really valuable about the team environment was that since it really wasn't, it was purely managers, and they didn't have to worry about, was their senior management team there, were there users there, are they going to say anything that's going to offend anyone? They were just brothers in arms with like mission and like purpose, and they just went right to it. We gave them 10 minutes, and I was surprised. They got right to it.
They did, and what was equally fascinating to me is the participants may have been in a team in their professional lives, may have been their competitors. And there was no issue with that whatsoever.
Nobody clamming up, they were sharing. That's great.
They were sharing. It's really good.
So was there any problems with having AEC people in the room and manufacturing people and civil? Were there any issues with that?
I saw none of it.
Excellent.
Everybody seemed to have the same core problems.
Yeah, it's just managing technology. Regardless of what the label on the technology is, as Robert knows this better than anybody else, that is the challenge, is how to manage
Pete, share with
that.
me your top highlight from the event. Anything that come to your mind that really jumps out?
I really liked when we had the instructors up on stage, and we're asking them a few questions about, quite honestly, what were their highlights of the day. And the one that sticks with me is that Joseph said, I learned stuff. I came away as an instructor. I got stuff out of this, and that to me that was it.
What about you, Robert?
I thought what was really cool about it is that we basically put the event out there via the Twitter feed. It's the only technical conference I've ever been to where we're evaluating ourselves as the conference is going on. And that was a very participatory environment. And I think people really embraced that. I think they really, really liked it.
Not to mention, very brave.
So we asked for the feedback and we got it. And thankfully, most of it was good.
Well, it sounds like it was a successful event.
I enjoyed it.
Well, now let me ask you. So everyone that's watching this is probably saying to themselves, is there going to be anything after this? Any plans? Any inside track we want to share with the audience out there?
Keep your fingers crossed that this is the first of many. We're on to something really good here, worth repeating without question. I'm sure we all agree on that.
All right, so maybe an event coming up next year, so stand by, mark it on your calendar. It's a maybe. And I've also heard maybe a little bit about a possible virtual event for managers out there.
That's right.
So you saw it from Pete, you got a nod. So stand by, listen up, and there may be more coming. It looks like it was a great event, Guy. Congratulations.
Enjoyed.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Glad you could join us. And please stay tuned for more about the Design Technology Management Conference and more events for our managers out there.